outside. Just give me a sec. Pesky ads. I subscribed to them and I expect there to be no ads. Ugh. Perfect. Hello and welcome. It is me, Nightlord131, and welcome to today's special, awesome, classic science fiction stream, or YouTube video if you're watching this over on YouTube. When this uploads over to there. Tonight, damn ads. Just give me a sec. Tonight we will be doing a tier list on classic science fiction movies. We have a bunch of different movies here. Majority of these I have seen. A couple of them, like, will a little bit throw me off the rails, but for the most part, I have seen majority of these. So, I think we'll be pretty good. So, yeah, you must be wondering, why wasn't the Hightail stream uploaded to YouTube? Unfortunately, I was having a really bad day during that stream, and I just felt pretty bad about myself. And I decided, no, I'm not going to upload it to YouTube. Like, it's still going to be here on Twitch for a bit. But, Mara actually, never mind. I'll just, I'll delete it. This, sometime soon. I just felt really bad about myself. But we're not here to dwell on that right now. We are here to talk about classic science fiction movies. Classic science fiction movies from... Well, you must be asking yourself, what do you mean by classic science fiction? There are tons of examples. Well, you see, when I'm talking about classic science fiction movies, we have things like Forbidden Planet, and then we have Invasion of the Body Snatchers, War of the Worlds, Godzilla, The Blob, The Fly, Them, and a whole bunch of different movies like that. Like, roughly around the 50s, 60s, during the time of, I say, the Cold War, there was a bunch of different science fiction movies that were released during that period of time. And this was like a golden age of science fiction movies where people were wondering what could be out there in the stars. Or all these other kinds of crazy stuff that can happen through the power of science. So, with this stream, we are going to be looking at examples of 1950s to 60s, around that general period of time, for its classic science fiction films. So, yeah. The first movie we're going to be talking about is one of my personal favorites. And this is Forbidden Planet. You can watch it on these platforms, but you can also... Like, I did watch it when it was on Tubi, which is really good. It's a very classic science fiction movie. And has all these different actors in it. Let me see when it was released. It was released on March 15th of 1956. Oh yeah, you can also see it right here. So, what I enjoy about this movie is that I believe it predates Star Trek. And if you like Star Trek, this is like a precursor to what we would have with the original Star Trek. And it has like a lot of cool, interesting things in the movie with the robot. Like here's just some examples from the film. Like they're like, how do you say, the people who arrive on this planet are trying to rescue these two people, a father, being him, and his daughter, as seen here. And let's just say the father, who is a scientist, is keeping some secrets from not just his daughter, but from the people who came to rescue them. And there's an invisible monster. You have this robot here who is really fantastic. He's really nice. And no, it's just brimming with a lot of tropes that, at least for people in my generation, Gen Z, they will, they'll probably not really care for it because it does have a little, I don't want to use the word retro, but it is a shame that, people in my generation don't really care for this kind of movie. I love classic science fiction and old films in general. Like I can admit their flaws, especially when, how do you say? When you look at like the things that people would be subjected to in these kinds of movies, and that's important to address when it comes to abuse and all. But like overall, no, it's like it's one of my favorite classic science fiction movies, and for this reason, I put it at number 8. It's just fantastic. Every bit of it, you like, if you haven't watched it and you're going in blind, you're like, oh, what could be going on behind the scenes? And when the reveal comes to you, that's when you'll be like, ooh, that's actually cool. So, and I believe it's an hour and 38 minutes. So it is a bit of a watch, not extremely long, but it's it's really excellent. So I put it right there. Let's see. Yeah, we have a lot to go through. So, all right. Ooh. Let's see. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. No, we are not talking about the one from the 70s. 1956. This one is another fantastic one. If you want to know where you can watch this, you can watch it on the Roku channel. You can also watch it on YouTube TV if you subscribe. YouTube for $4 essentially. Google Play, Apple, Fandango, Prime, all these places. And it's just a fantastic, another fantastic movie that, how do you say? This one is also like very coded in Cold War fears. Like there's a lot of, how do you say, it's like subtle references to like the idea of like communism making everyone the same, and like all these other kinds of, you know, ideas that they use, like the idea of these aliens who are, you know, replacing, you know, everyone else around them. Like that's like I think an interesting way of how to, you know, address those kinds of fears, you know, during a very chaotic, you know, period in world history. So, yeah, it's a very great movie. I wish I could show you guys like a trailer, but I don't want to get in trouble for showing, you know, a bit of it. Just because copyright's scary. But here's like what would happen in the movie. They would come out of these pods, and it was quite something. It's, you know, not just a classic in classic science fiction, iconic. I meant to say iconic when it comes to classic science fiction, but it's also like pretty big in horror too. And this one is an hour and 20 minutes. So you can go and watch it for yourself. So where would I put this, honestly? I'm trying to think. It's important to acknowledge, like, it is, you know, a very big um, pioneer in this period of, you know, film. But I personally would have to put it. It's not up here. I'll just tell you that right now. I'll put it kind of around here. Well, actually, a little bit more here. I just say this just because, like, it's not my absolute favorite because it just doesn't have the kind of energy that I really look for in this kind of setting. Like all these other ones, these are all fantastic ones that like I can all appreciate, but it's just not really my favorite. But it is important. So, you know. We're off to a good start here. All right. Let's see. What else? Okay, we got at least 14 movies to go. And I'm not really in a rush. I do want to take, I say, like, some of my time on these. And, yeah, we might do a another tier list if you guys are interested. I don't know. We'll see. Now, War of the Worlds. Let me see. War of the Worlds from 1953. Ooh, yes. Now this one is another fantastic one. This one clocks in at an hour and 25 minutes. And this one is also a pretty big, iconic one too. It's based off the book, which, let me see who the author was. War of the Worlds. The worlds. Look. H.G. Wells. Yeah. This is what the original this is the original book. I had to think about it for a sec. I do know it was like one of the like OG people when it came to like, well, it is classic literature, I believe. But no, it's a really good one. Actually, speaking of War of the Worlds, there is one thing that I do find pretty interesting. And there was this thing that happened. Radio broadcast, yes. This is exactly what I wanted to look at. The complete original radio broadcast? Oh. Interesting. But yes, there was this broadcast, radio broadcast on October 30th of 1938. Like, I want to show you guys. I know this is a little bit like off topic when it comes to like talking about the movie, but no, it is a pretty fascinating part of, I say War of the Worlds. I will include this as a link in the description when this comes out on YouTube, so you guys can come and read it for yourself. But CBS in 1938 got the rights to, radio broadcasts War of the Worlds. And this is a picture from, that time. And as you can see here, it would be read out loud as if it was like a news reel, like it was just happening. You know? And people were getting hysterical. People were actually believing. Let me see. Oh no. It's an ad. Maybe I won't get hurt if I show the ad. No, wait. Let me see. I think I'll be okay. Just go. Okay, you don't even see the... Wait. Wait. Oh, no. Hold up. Give me a sec. All right, here it is.
Influential and enjoyable inventions would, for the first time ever, bring a world of information and entertainment into the home.
Oh. Well, no, this is about the invention of the radio and how, like... Okay, I think I can turn this off. Yeah, I don't think I'll get in trouble for that. I think I will be able to mute my audio when this comes out to YouTube. I'm a little bit afraid about it now. Well, basically, how do you say this? I want to be like the best I can when it comes to this. Orson Welles had read out what happened in the book, and people started to freak out. And it got so bad that people were like saying, "Oh no, it's the end of the world," and people were like absolutely livid, you know? But eventually, like, it came out that it was not real. That it was just all an unintended hoax, as the article had said here. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Obviously, there's a lot more to it that I did not go into when discussing this, obviously. But, yeah, it's definitely an interesting period in, I say, in American history, but also in general for, like, War of the Worlds as a mm, as an entity, I guess, as a property. But anywho, yeah, if any of you have ever seen this alien before, this is what the Martians were believed to look like. I'm not gonna lie. I saw this as a action figure, and I was like, oh, it looks kind of weird. Like, the head itself is just not. It just looks like a toy. Like, if we compare it to the one that came out in 2005, I believe. Let's see. It's War of the Worlds 2005. Yes. Like, let's just compare the alien, well, the Martians from the one from 1953 to the one from 2005. Like, I remember seeing these Martians in, I say, from this movie, and I was freaked out a little bit by them. Compared to the aliens, well, the Martians, I mean, from the one from 1953. All right. I remember distinctly looking at them in this way. Yeah. Compare this alien, this Martian, to. I want to try to find a good. A good representation of the Martians. Let's see. Where's a good close-up? Are you seeing this well? Hold up. Alright. I bet you can see it a little bit better. Like, this Martian right here, don't get me wrong, it is more creepy compared to, I say, this version, these Martians right here. But I do like the more classic version. And also, it's just like, it has that feel that I do love in films. And also, like, let's compare the tripods, actually. The tripods is how they had gotten around. Tripod. Alright. The first one right here, they look like your classic flying saucers. Right? They're pretty cool, I would say. And then you compare these ones from the one from 2005. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to, like, influence in pop culture, like, even outside of War of the Worlds, like, when you have, like, a major pop culture thing where they have, like, all these different characters from different films or representations of them, when I see someone try to do a War of the Worlds reference, they usually go with the one from 2005. And I'm not going to lie, they are pretty cool looking. And they are, like, it was very, like, the moment when they had took one of the humans and then put him on the ground and then started to extract his blood with that little tentacle thing. Now that was pretty freaky. Well, not freaky, but it was like, it gave me like really weird vibes. But again, I do like these classic ones. Not trying to say that the 2005 one is like crappy by any means, but no, I do have to say, however, that this one is something that I want to see more, like, flying saucers in movies. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, like a hokey kind of one, but just one that you would see from the 50s and 60s, from that time period, because I've always found those, like, the most interesting, personally. Like, this is always going to be iconic, no matter however you try to slice it. Flying saucer. Well, wait, that's another movie, and you can watch it for free over on Tubi if you live in the United States, Canada, Mexico, the UK, Australia. I believe it's also, like, you can access Tubi. But no, this is another fantastic movie. But no, like, this is always going to be, like, iconic, and I always, like, found these ones to be very much, like, it's always like the idea of a flying saucer is never going to leave the human imagination. We see it in cartoons. How do you say, when you want to symbolize, like, something from outer space, you would get a meteor, or you would get a flying saucer that would come and abduct cows or something, you know? Like, I find this to just be, like, probably not the newest, but I would say, like, something that's always going to be in the human imagination as long as we are, existing on this earth or even off this earth. It's always going to be there as a symbol. I want to see more flying saucers in movies. Those, like, it's always going to be really cool, personally. All right. So I would have to say that this movie right here is going to have to, I would kind of have to put this one up here, Probably like right here. Like it is a fantastic movie, but I do like have to say that some of the other ones right here are going to ooh mm, give them a bit of a run for their money a bit. So yeah. Speaking of flying saucers, Earth versus the flying saucers. Okay. Let's look at the movie poster. I might even use this as the thumbnail when this comes out to YouTube. So, let me see the version they used. Okay. Something like this? No. Maybe something like... Trying to find a good one that I could use. Maybe this. Wait, here. I'm gonna do like a... Yeah. How do you say this? I don't think... How do you say this? I was trying to like think of like a funny thing I could do for like a thumbnail. That'll probably maybe not be it, but we'll see. But no, this is a pretty fantastic movie too. You can watch it also on Tubi. You can also watch it on Pluto. YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, Amazon. We have a bunch of places you can watch it. But yeah, as I was talking about when it comes to flying saucers, like, how do you say this? With UFOs, if we want to like cut it down from like flying saucers, just UFOs, I would have to say, like, the title itself is like punchy. You know what I mean? Gets your attention a little bit. And then you would have to say, yeah, I'm going to have to put this right here. It's a fantastic movie that I would have to say to anyone who wants to get into like classic sci-fi, watch this movie. Another really great sci-fi movie, which, let me see, This Island Earth from 1955. I know for a fact that a couple people may not like this movie, but it's another really fantastic movie. It famously has the mutant right here. But, yes, here, let me just do this. 1955. Yes. Yeah, it's another, like, one that I would also recommend to people who want to get into, like, another fantastic movie that is also, I would say, comparable to Forbidden Planet. Like, I would compare them to. Obviously, very different. But I would have to say, no, they're both like, brimming with that classic style, with its aesthetics and how people talked and like everything else like that I just I really enjoy. So, yeah. Now we go to another fantastic movie. This has been probably the biggest one. This has always been probably the most known. 1954. The original Japanese, I say. How it's said in Japan is Gojira, not the metal band. But the metal band is also really good. But this movie has a ton, and I mean a ton, of history. Well, first off, if you want to watch it, go to HBO Max or YouTube. Primetime subscription. Oh my gosh. Can we just say that getting another subscription thing is literally like... That's just more money going out the door. If I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. Like, if I were... Like, I collect, so I don't really have to really think about it too much, but I do know there's a lot of people who just don't, for some reason, don't collect physical media. If I were you, I would go collect physical media. Books, movies, vinyls, CDs, cassettes, just comic books, a whole bunch of stuff like that. Because it's yours. You're not renting for it. You're like, that's what subscription services are. You're not owning it. You're just renting to use it. If I would be putting it that way. And like with an original version that you have on, I say, CD, DVD, with a book, for example, like instead of having a Kindle, you can have like a hard copy or a paperback or anything like that. Like, that is yours. You know what I mean? I wish people would start recollecting physical media again. Like, people are, but I would have to say when it comes to like mainstream culture, they're like, yeah, no, you can just go watch it on a subscription service. Like one of these ones. Like Sling TV, Roku, YouTube TV, Apple TV, all these other things. Like, don't get me wrong, convenience is nice, but again, it's not yours. You're just paying to have it, and when you're done, it's not yours. And that, like, even with like digital copies of anything, it's not real. Let's just say something happens, a security breach in on a website, it could be gone. A world like that can happen. Like, I remember, like, I know this is a little bit deviating away from what, this stream is all about, but, it's my stream / YouTube video. But, no, like, there's a lot of benefits for actually collecting things. You can pass it down to if you have kids in the future, or you can like reminisce on, like, I say, this book that you have, or this comic book, or this cassette, or anything like that. Like, you can put meaning into it. And that's all I have to say on that. But when it comes to Godzilla history, I wanted to give you guys a bit of an idea about Godzilla, or Gojira. Let me see. History. Godzilla and World War II. Yes, they have a very strong connection. All right. By the way, I will also link this in the description too, so you can also check it out on the National World War II Museum, New Orleans. And this is all their socials. But anywho, several years after his appearance in 1954, Godzilla is still an international icon. The star of 38 films produced both in the United States and Japan, he has spawned two genres of Japanese film and influenced television, music, literature, and video games. Yes, this is extremely true. Like, if any of you guys don't know the history of Godzilla, I'll just put it to you like this. It's a very terrible part of World War II history, and it's important to talk about this just because Godzilla was a response to what had happened. When you look at the original Gojira, the original Godzilla, this, like, how do you say this? When the United States had dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, it was a chaotic time for Japan. And some of the filmmakers in Japan, how do you say, what had happened had, like, not just like metaphorically scarred like the people of Japan, but have not just killed a lot of people in Japan, but had also scarred people too who had survived. And when they were making this film, they were trying to figure out how to, like, how do you say, depict something like that in a monster. And they had originally said, you know what, let's try to depict it as a mushroom cloud. Pretty subtle. Well, not so subtle. But eventually decided, no, we're going to depict it as this guy right here, Gojira, or Godzilla. I believe Gojira translates to hairy whale. I believe it is. Let me make sure. Oh, no, wait. Just give me a sec. We're going to go back to that one in just a sec. Godzilla. Gojira. What it translates to. Because I want to make sure to get this right. I know the AI answer is right here, but I try not to leech onto it. But yes. Gorilla whale. It's supposed to be like, a hairy whale creature. Yeah. But anywho, that's not as important. But the original Japanese version, I would say, is the best version. Like especially when you put on subtitles. When you watch the original in subtitle form, how do you say this? Like when they were, distributing Godzilla to the United States, there were certain cuts in the film to make it more, well, first off, to like downplay the symbolism of Godzilla as a metaphor of, nuclear weapons, and, to not accept the guilt that the United States had, committed against the people of Japan. And they had made certain cuts to include some American actors in with the original film, just so that it is, I don't want to use the word palatable, but, they would maybe try to sell it as like, oh, this is from the United States, but it's actually from Japan. But anywho, yeah, it's some people wouldn't call Godzilla, the original one, a horror movie, but in some way it really is. Like when you see, like there's this scene in the movie where a mother is holding on to, her daughter in the fire, and it's just a very emotional scene, and you feel the sense of dread that is just permeating through the movie. And it's a little bit hard to stomach a little bit. Maybe for some people it won't, but no, honestly, it's just something that is ingrained in the human imagination that I don't think would be super easy to get rid of. And he's, like all across pop culture, Godzilla is. He was literally in Fortnite. So, you know what? I'll put this one right here. Just because Forbidden Planet is a great movie, but in terms of like the movie that everyone knows, even if they have never seen it, they know the name Godzilla. And as this article had said, that it has at least 38 movies that have been produced. Just give me a sec. All right. A bot came in. And this was updated on August 15th, 2024. So, relatively recent. So, yeah, I put Godzilla right here for that reason. By the way, if you are seeing ads, like for the people on YouTube, this doesn't apply to you, but if you are watching this here on Twitch and you don't want to see those pesky ads, you can always subscribe or get gifted a sub. Or if you have an Amazon Prime, you can always connect to your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and then you get a free Amazon. Well, no, you get a free sub every month, and then like you can use it on your favorite creators, and hopefully, if you like me and in that respect, I would appreciate it. If you can't, I completely understand. If you want to watch the ads, please do. If you can't, subscribe. But also, For the people on YouTube, if you like what you're seeing and you want to come join the streams, please join at twitch.tv/nightlord131. And also, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ring the bell notification, all that good things. If you could, please. All right. We got a ton of other movies here. I believe that's Rodan. You know what? I'll make number one like the not sure space, because only this one. I'll just have to say this one is like the one I'm not too sure about. I think it's definitely a Godzilla movie. So I'll kind of have to, we'll kind of have to see. But we have another Godzilla movie. Godzilla. Okay, so this Japanese version. Okay. So this one I would kind of have to put here too, because these are both the same movies. These are the English version, the American version, and this is the original one, the Japanese version. Obviously, I don't speak Japanese, so like it may it may not make sense that I'm putting the English version behind the original, but I do think like when you do know, like when the movie is translated accurately, and then like the language barrier isn't there anymore, I do think that the original intent makes the original one far more. I want to figure out the best word I can put to like describe it. I'm trying to think. How would I put it? The original one is not tampered with. The American one is tampered with, because there are certain intentions. But with the first one, like, it has a message, it knows what it wants to say, therefore it happens. The more accurate one, the more original one outbeats the one that has been tampered. That's how I'll put it. Now this one, that's another one, but with, I believe, an American monster. I believe 1950 films. And if we do... Oh, nope, not this. Films. If we get film list... I can't remember the name of that monster, but... let's see. This one. Visit. Let's see. Wait a minute. I saw it. Nope, that's Reddit. I'm trying to... Like, I know the name of... I've seen that monster before. For this one right here. Let me just do this quick. List films. Through the ages. Let's hope that this helps. Yes, this one. Alright. Give me a sec. Yeah, this is it. This one is classified as a sci-fi horror movie from 1955, and it's an hour and 21 minutes. You can watch it for free on Amazon Prime and all these other streaming services. But anywho, yeah, it's a interesting movie. I believe that this monster right here, just give me a sec. Anguirus. He's a part of the monster. How do you say? A part of the MonsterVerse, I believe. Let me just do this quick. Yes. It has been a while, so apologies for my how do you say this? Unpreparedness, but hey, you know, I do my best. But no, this is all about the monster. By the way, when this comes out, both this, and this will be included as links, so you can go check it out for yourself. But no, this is a pretty cool movie. It's another classic Godzilla monster movie that is certainly not on this level, but I would kind of put it around this section. So I'll kind of put it maybe over here. That's how I'd put it. And now we have It Came from Outer Space. So just give me a sec. It came from outer space. Ooh, another fantastic one. And guess what? You can watch it for free on Tubi. Excellent. Yeah. I haven't seen this movie. Like, honestly, I would have to say this one and this one. I am not really too sure, so I'll kind of have to put this one right here. But no, let's just learn about it a little bit. Plus, the stream's going a little bit too fast for me personally. So, let's just take a bit of a breather and just, yeah. Just take a breather and relax a bit, I guess. Oh, this is another great movie from 1957, actually. 20 Million Miles to Earth. That's another good one. You can also watch it for free on Tubi. I remember watching this movie back in 2024. a couple, no, a couple of years ago. But yeah, it was an interesting movie. Like this period of film, claymation was still a thing. Oh, hi, welcome to today's stream. How are you doing, Prussian Mummy 18? Welcome. We're talking about classic science fiction movies. We already have the 2 Godzilla movies, and we also have Forbidden Planet, Earth versus the Flying Saucers, War of the Worlds, Body Snatchers, and this Godzilla movie. But yeah, welcome. Oh man. Yeah, but yeah. He's probably typing. I'll just give him a sec. Doing alright. Had a pretty good meal from Captain D's lemon prepared. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds awesome, actually. I'm happy to have you here, actually. Yeah, it's always a pleasure having you. I have, like, let me just stretch a bit. You know, I'm kind of surprised. Well, it did come out in, like, the 60s, late 60s, I believe. But, let me see. Planet of the Vampires. Wait a minute. Hold up, we're going to be learning a little bit about this. Planet of the Apes. Yes, yeah. You know what, actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that. Well, I'm going to be really honest with you, Prussian Mummy 18. You may not know this, but I love a lot of older movies, but specifically, I really do enjoy classic science fiction movies and horror movies from like that period of time. And like, and they beat me. Ah, interesting. Yeah. Like, I was just showing off this one movie that you can actually go watch free on Tubi. And it's called 20 Million Miles to Earth. It's another great one. Yeah, this is another fantastic one. It's an hour and 52 minutes. And you can watch, well, I watched it for free on YouTube. But no, it's a fantastic movie. Like, it's okay. 1968. Yeah, no, this one's one of my favorites. It's a fantastic movie indeed. Like, everyone and his brother knows this line. All right. I'm going to yell a little bit, but just to give you a bit of warning. You maniacs! You blew it up! God damn you! God damn you all to hell! That's another great one. Well, to be fair, this is 1960s, but You haven't watched the entire film? Oh, you need to. It's another fantastic movie. Yeah, no, it's great. Like, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but how do you say? For this movie in particular, like questions about well, no, when it comes to like how do you say, the apes, they have this religion and they believe that uh their god had made, you know, apes to be more superior than mankind. And at some point I'm curious and I'm like, you know what? Since when did like apes become like, interested in religion, I suppose. And it's like very interesting. 1960 has great movies, especially the James Bond movies. Well, I haven't watched too much James Bond, but 1950s, well, excuse me, 40s, 50s, 60s, fantastic movies. You know about the plot twists, though? Yeah, absolutely. And when you watch the second Planet of the Apes movie, let me see. Okay. Sequel. Sequel in order. Beneath the Planet of the Apes. This one. This one is where, like, you have the humans underground, and they are literally worshipping. Well, here in this, how do you say, poster. Maybe I can get a bit of a bigger version of it, actually. Come on. Okay, I don't want to look at a TikTok. Well, anywho, basically, the humans underground are worshipping a nuclear missile. And, like, this is still during, like, the Cold War, obviously. And, like, compared to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like, the fears of communism, like, replacing people and, like, group thought and all that kind of stuff, like, in this film, this came out in 1970. Like, I would say, like, I think, like, it's interesting that, like, during this period, people were, like, at least for the film, like, okay, we are, praising this, powerful weapon that doesn't just have the power to kill people, but can help power cities. And, like, obviously it's treated more religiously than, like, another kind of item, of death and destruction and all. But, like, it's interesting. But, I recently had just saw that this is a movie that I need to watch. It's for free on Pluto TV and all these other streaming services. It's a sci-fi horror movie. Oh my gosh! Woo! It's an hour and 28 minutes long. Oh my gosh. If apes have religion and worship deities, then they're no more different than humans, except very. Yeah. Actually, there is this video. There's this video by a YouTube channel called Religion for Breakfast. And if you ever watch that YouTube channel, he has an extraordinary video on like I haven't watched it fully through. I will include a link to I will actually include a link to it when this comes out to YouTube. But no, it's an interesting video about like I say with Religion for Breakfast. He also includes like sources from like say like studies, and like it. He examines how like I say religion and spirituality, like it's I say how it's in the human brain, like processes how like we like psychologically deal with it in our like human brain. But when it comes to animals, apparently they do have like, well, how do you say this? Have similar experiences, but not like a one-to-one, comparison. I'll include a link to it. I haven't watched the whole video through, so I can't really like talk more beyond that. But it's an interesting video. But I need to watch this out. Planet of the Vampires. That looks super cool. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Well, prescribed. But no, this is another great movie. If you like classic sci-fi, but it has a little bit of a horror edge to it, this is a fantastic movie. Like the claymation, like if you ever watched, here, let me pull up the original King Kong. King Kong. Are you talking about rituals within animals compared to humans? Yeah, like when it comes to the human brain, like interesting things happen in our brains when people are engaging in ritual or other things that are in religions or in spirituality. And he was talking about how like within animals too, they can have like similar experiences that would kind of put them like making it very fascinating. King Kong, 1933. I believe this is another fantastic one. Like claymation. Here, let me try to get like a good image of Kong. If you ever watched this movie, claymation, when you look at like early film, it's not used obviously as much anymore besides like Mad God, which here, let me just show you Mad God actually. Mad God. It's a movie that uses a lot of cool claymation actually, and like stop motion animation. I really hope I don't see something I am not going to regret. Yeah, this is it. Like it's a very. Is there any chance you've watched Metropolis? I've only watched like a little bit of that movie. So, yeah. This movie is a little bit like, well, no, it is a horror film, sorta, and no, it is considered a horror movie, fantasy. It's a really cool movie. I would recommend you check it out. But anywho, claymation, it's a pretty cool thing. I wish that was also used a lot. Well, used a little bit more in modern film. So, yeah. It came from outer space. But have you watched Metropolis? In case none of you in the chat know what Metropolis is. Let me just... Metropolis from 1927. This is another sci-fi movie. It's a thriller movie, actually. You can watch it for free on Tubi and Pluto TV, Sling, Roku channel. You can find it a lot of places. Dog is barking. I am super sorry. I'm super sorry about my dog barking. My apologies. But no, it's another interesting movie. Yeah. Huh. This is just another interesting night about movies. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see what we can learn about It Came from Outer Space. IMDb. Okay. I would show the trailer, but I'm afraid on what would happen. Well, at least we can see a little bit of, you know. He's fine. He's probably... Yeah. Yeah, exactly. A spaceship from another world crashes into the Arizona desert, and only stargazer and a school teacher suspect alien influence when the local township begins to act strangely. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting movie. This sounds really interesting. Let's see what we can learn from Letterbox. By the way, well, nope. Apparently we can't. Okay. Well, anyway, no, this looks interesting. I haven't watched it, which I'll probably will watch it sometime soon. Probably after the stream, actually. So, I'll just put it right here. Now, Return of the Fly. Okay, Return of the Fly. Okay, just give me a sec. Return of the Fly. Okay, now we got a classic, a real classic one. Has Vincent Price, another icon. Like, okay. There's a lot of people out there that have like The Simpsons have done, like, for their Treehouse of Horror, like, specials. Like, in the earlier seasons, they had a segment dedicated to the Fly, you know. Like, there's even a movie that has here, let me pull it up. The Fly. There's even one that has Jeff Goldblum. Like, here's Jeff Goldblum, okay? And then here's random question, but do you believe him? That's an interesting question. Well, this is a little bit of a weird place to, like, talk about this, but I don't know. That's an interesting thing to ask. I'm not entirely sure myself. No, obviously, like when it comes to like living organisms in general, like usually, like when you look at evolution and you see how over millions of years a species will adapt in order to address like the always changing environments that, so it can be more suitable. And like, I don't know, I would probably have to say like, yeah. But it also too, like, living organisms are not, how do you say this, I want to try figure out a good way of putting this. mm, Humans, and not just humans, but all different kinds of life forms, we're obviously all different. Like, there are similarities when it comes to like amongst humans and like other kinds of creatures, but I don't know, it's interesting. You have people who are taller, you have people who are shorter, you have people that, you know who are like zoomers, for example, who can, like, at the age of like 26, for some people, because of genetics, some people can have like white hairs or gray hairs appear. But outside of like stress and like other things like that, it can reappear. Well, no, not reappear, but that's just like what's in the genetics. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's all I'll have to say. But yeah, Jeff Goldblum turned into this guy, the Fly, this version of the Fly. But anywho, I like the OG Fly from 1958. The Cramps have a song about the Fly. So does the Misfits have a song about the Fly. But yeah, it's obviously a classic, not to the same degree as the original, but I'll put it right here. No idea about this. The Blob. All right. I'm not here to look at the cast. All right. We're going to just wait for a sec. You can watch this movie on Plex, HBO Max. You know what? I'm going to have to watch some even more classic sci-fi. Yeah. But honestly, another, and I mean a real classic here, is The Blob. The Blob. Have any of you guys heard of The Blob? I believe there is a version of The Blob from the 80s. Yeah. This. This thing was freaking nuts. Sounds familiar? Maybe there has been like parodies of The Blob, but this thing is disgusting. It is freaky. I've seen some crazy scenes from the one from the late 80s, like this one. Oh my gosh. Like, yeah. It's real horror show from 1988. You can watch it on YouTube, Google Play, Amazon Prime for $8. Well, no, not $8. $4 essentially on all the other ones. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the one from 1958. This movie is another, like, disgusting roller coaster of a movie. Like, I bet you, like, when people from the 50s saw this movie, they were, like, pardon my French, shitting in their pants. Like, seeing, like, this monster. Because, you know, it terrorized this town and. Yeah. Wait a minute. Look. Bela Lugosi. Yeah, a Bela Lugosi reference. Nice. Okay. Is there any chance you've seen... No, I don't believe I have. Yeah. No, this movie is very much like a wild one. I'll have to wait. Where is the blob? Yeah, I'll have to. It's a sci-fi horror film. Oh, that's cool. You know what? I will actually after the stream I will look that up and maybe I'll watch it. Wait, what period? What when was it released? Actually, I'll look it up right now. SCA from 1981. Ooh. 2 hours essentially. Oh my gosh. Oh, interesting. You can't trust Wikipedia all the time, but we'll read on the Wikipedia. Okay. I haven't seen this movie, but let's learn about it. It is about the 1981 science fiction horror film. Is a Canadian science fiction horror film written and directed by David Kohlenberg. Well, let's just see about the plot. Again, you can't trust Wikipedia all the time, but we're going to read into this after. Telepathic powers. Ooh, this is sounding pretty interesting, actually. Okay. I have not. Where can I watch this? I can watch it on HBO Max. Thank you for letting me know. Oh my goodness, I'm finding so many good ones. Honestly, in terms of like this, not just the creepy factor, but just like the of the blob. Like, it does have some name relevance, but I wouldn't say it's like huge. Like, it hits huge, but it's not too huge. I'll kind of have to put it around. Well, actually, I kind of think, yeah, this is more accurate. Okay. Ooh, wait. Okay, here's another one. The day Earth stood still. This is another classic, and I mean another classic. There's one from 2005 with Keanu Reeves, which is a fantastic movie, but this is the original. You can watch it on YouTube, Google Play, all that other crap. And this is the film. I believe it stars Keanu Reeves. No, I don't think it does star Keanu Reeves. Here, let me just... 2008. Yeah, it does. It does star Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves. We love Keanu Reeves. Wait, how old is he? Oh, he's a Canadian actor? Oh, I did not know he was Canadian. Let me see. And no. Age. Let me see. Oh, no! Oh, no! Keanu is 61. Oh, no! Why? Oh! No, not Keanu. Okay. I just learned that Keanu Reeves is 61. How could this happen? Keanu, why? Why Keanu? Okay. Moving on. Well, anywho, this is another fantastic one. Essentially, the world needs to, stop being at war with each other. And if you've ever seen the one from 2005, well, no, excuse me, 2008. I'm getting the dark grittiness of the one from 2008 and mixing it up with the War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds from 2005. Sorry. But no, this one is another fantastic movie indeed. I would have to say it's pretty influential. I'll kind of have to put it right here. Obviously, I would have to say a little bit more in this direction, just because I know that a lot of people maybe have, hear the name and they're like, yeah, I know that one. The Fly. I'm personally putting The Fly maybe right here. The Fly is another iconic one that cannot be truly stated enough that it is another fantastic one. 1958. You can watch it on all these platforms right here. And then we have this monster movie, essentially, Them, from 1954. Oh, okay. You can watch it on Prime. Cool. I'm learning about so many new things. Like, I don't know. It's always fun to, watch. Well, not just watch these movies, but also learn and, a whole bunch of different stuff like that, you know? But yeah, I've haven't necessarily watched this movie, but I do know that giant ants, that's a whole thing. How do you guys feel about giant ants? Let me guess. While investigating. Oh, yep, they're mutated, radioactive ants. How do you guys feel about radioactive giant ants? Does that sound scary? Yo, welcome to the stream. We were just looking at radioactive giant ants from the movie Them from 1954. It's a pretty wild ride. We talked about a bunch of different movies tonight. I had just learned about this movie right here, Scanners, from 1981, that I just learned about. We also have looked a little bit into Planet of the Vampires, and we had also looked a little bit into, Godzilla right here. And yeah, a bunch of crazy stuff tonight. How do you feel about radioactive giant ants? How do you feel about that? Oh my. Oh my goodness. My neck. Do giant radioactive ants scare you? Honestly, if I saw a giant ants, I don't know. I'll probably have to say in terms of like wackiness. Like a lot of these films were a bit wacky, but also people did used to believe in the idea that these kinds of things would happen because, it's the Cold War, science is expanding at a rapid rate, and like the impossible seemed possible. So I'll have to say, even though I haven't like watched it, I have seen scenes. I'll have to say that the idea of radioactive giant ants attacking humans kind of have to be right here. And now we have The Thing. Okay. So, all right. The Thing. The Thing from Another World. Imagine giant ants in your... Yes, yes. You know what? You could do that. You could actually do that. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. And look at these guys. Here, let me just pull them up. Okay. Them from 1954. Like imagine seeing these ants here. Let me see if I can get giant ants. Yes. Look at these things. Like during this period in film, they would get like instead of like making like these puppets of like, real world animals and making them like giant, sometimes in film during this period of time, people would get a close up of like crickets, for example, or like spiders and make them like ginormous. And that was like, a thing people did in order to like make you say, "Oh my god." You know what I mean? All right, let me just unplug my phone. We are good. We are good. All right. So, let me just get rid of that. The Thing from Another World. Actually, a chatter had told me that The Thing, this one from 1982, this one is actually a remake, actually. And don't get me wrong, this movie is a enjoyable. Like it is a horror icon for a reason. But man, do I really, I don't know, really gives me some bad impressions. You can watch this movie on all these platforms: AMC Plus, YouTube, Sling, Roku. Like, if any of you guys have seen this movie, you know how freaky this thing is. I just made a reference. Okay. 1982. Like, anyone who's seen this movie, this thing freaks you out. It really is like, ugh. So, even though I haven't seen the original here from 1951, even though I have not seen this, based on the John Carpenter, The Thing from 1982, I'll have to say that this is kind of really freaky. And is up, like, should be up here. So I kind of have to say I'll have to put it like maybe here. Well, I'll put it right here. Even though I haven't seen it. Okay. And the last one is When Worlds Collide. All right. Let's see. Okay. When Worlds Collide from 1951. Oh, you can watch it for free on Pluto TV. On YouTube, you can watch it on Fandango, Prime, Apple TV. Like, I haven't. Again, there's another movie I need to watch. But, yeah. No, this seems interesting. Worlds Collide. Interesting. Here, let me just do something quick. 1951. Let's just learn about this movie a little bit. IMDb. All right, let's see. The plot. Let's learn about this. In the prologue, quotes the book of Genesis that are shown and narrated describing God's decision to wipe out humanity. Okay, that's one way of starting a movie. Plot: Stephen Files top secret photographs from South African astronomer Dr. Boston to the United States. Okay. That's one kind of movie, I guess. Interesting. Honestly, this sounds like a stinker. I'm not gonna lie. Even if I did see this movie, this sounds like a real bad one. I don't know. I'll just put it right here. So, yeah, this will be all the movies that will be included. The original Godzilla from 1954, the original one, the Japanese version, has to be arguably the best of this period in science fiction movie history. As we had learned, well, as I had retold through, like, when we were talking about Godzilla, like, when you learn the history of Godzilla, how the Japanese, like, how you say this, when Japan was originally nuked, well, when the United States had dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the people of Japan, the filmmakers, had made this movie as, like, kind of a way of, like, reflecting on, like, the horrors of nuclear, and, like, no, I would say, like, I say this. The 1950s and onward, up until like the end of the Cold War, up until the end of the Cold War, the 50s going onward to like the 90s, well, late 80s, early 90s, like humanity had used like, you know, nuclear weapons, have discovered the power of nuclear, and we had been getting ready to, you know, go to outer space and learn more about our universe. And I don't blame some of the people from this time period who would be afraid of like things like all of this from happening. Like, yeah, it's definitely interesting. All right. Wow, I have a lot of cool movies to look at. so now, um, let's just talk. What do you guys think? What do you think of the tier list? What movies would you want to watch from this? We got both versions of Godzilla, the Japanese version, the American version. We got The Day the Earth Stood Still. Got The Fly, Forbidden Planet, The Thing, Them, War of the Worlds, Flying Saucer. Excuse me, Earth versus the Flying Saucers. We got The Blob, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We got this Godzilla movie. We got Return of the Fly, When Worlds Collide, It Came from Outer Space, and I don't even know the name of that one. It's just another Godzilla movie that, you know, is out there. Does any of these movies sound interesting to you guys? What would you want to watch? Oh, wait. We got a lot of cool movies here. I might actually watch them after the stream actually. So if I'm not active, I'm making a thumbnail. Okay. Alrighty. That's good. Yeah. Honestly, the one that's caught my attention the most has to be them because, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I like campiness in my movies, in my TV shows. Like, not all the time, but I do like, how do you say this? I like there to be some level of silliness, and they take it way too seriously. Like, here, let me pull up some good examples. B horror. B horror. Just give me a sec. Sci-fi movies. 1950s. Like these kinds of movies, I do enjoy like a fair amount of like campiness in my movies. Like there's this movie, for example, Attack of the Crab Monsters. You know, that sounds pretty interesting. Or like, let me see, what's another one that is kind of getting what I'm trying to say. From Hell It Came. Okay, another interesting one. Let's look at this. What? Whoa, okay. Ooh, dear. But, like, I don't know. I like stuff like this. Stuff that you can laugh at and stuff you're like, ooh, that's actually cool how they made this kind of movie. The Day the World Ended. The Mole People is another sci-fi movie that I have heard about. Like here, let me show this one. Maybe you guys might find this interesting. All right. The Mole. The Mole People from 1956. This is another one. This is another classic sci-fi movie from this period of time. It has like a level of campiness, and you have to like a little bit laugh at it, but it's like really a funny one indeed. And it's also interesting. Another great one, if you guys want like another film recommendation. I think it's a series, but just give me a sec. The Land of the Lost. Original. Yeah, it was a TV series, I believe. Like this is Land of the Lost from the 70s. It's interesting. Where can we watch this actually? You can watch it for free on Tubi. It's another great show. It's not a movie. You know, it's a show, but it has 3 seasons. By the way, if you haven't watched Land of the Lost, at least like the one from 2009, this movie with Will Ferrell, it's just fantastic. It's a funny movie. Thank God for Tubi. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was talking about how, like, don't get me wrong, Tubi is carrying all the way. Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree even more. Like, streaming services are great and all, yeah, but you're just constantly throwing your money at, like, you know, all these streaming services. You don't actually own the thing that you're, you know, watching. You're just renting to, you know, have it for a period of time until you stop paying your subscription. That's why I do think like collecting physical media like DVDs, CDs, books, comic books, a whole bunch of stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, no, this movie, I enjoy this one. Honestly, like, I really hope that, like, when people who are interested in, like, I'm glad I don't have Netflix or Disney Plus anymore. Yeah. You know, honestly, when it comes to Disney Plus, like, just give me a sec. Yeah, VHS tapes, yes, absolutely. I do have to say this. This is actually pretty disappointing, if I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to Disney, you can criticize Disney for a lot of things, but I do think that it's despicable that they have like really started to embrace AI. Like Disney has been like going downhill in some ways, like creatively, business wise, for a variety of reasons. But I do think that embracing AI, that's it's gonna like hurt them even more long term. If I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, the Owl House, another good show, another great show. But yeah, no, like again, like when they had signed that deal with OpenAI, the credibility of Disney has went down significantly for me, but not just for me, but for multiple people. Like they've been around for over 100 years. Let me see. Disney. Disney founded 1923. Yeah. They're they're really old. I'll just put it like that. But no, like I don't know. I feel like they're really going to suffer long term. Like since they've allowed this to happen. But anywho, doesn't affect me. But it is sad to see that an icon, a real icon, when it comes to film, outside of Warner Brothers, MGM, and Universal, has given to. Yeah, no, like that's like when it comes to Walt Disney as a man, like the propaganda that the Disney company has done, like trying to make Disney this like squeaky clean kind of guy. No, he wasn't. He wasn't that at all, really. No, unfortunately, he was anti-Semitic, and he was also very brutal with his workers too, which is another like nail in the coffin. When you learn about like, okay, when you learn about like, how do you say, early Hollywood, like you think like contemporary Hollywood culture is bad, and don't get me wrong, it is. But when you learn about like the terrible things that have been done to not just actors but writers, directors, and like all these other people, like it's just like it's insane. History. Yeah, he was also Harrison Ford is another. Well, not Harrison. Henry Ford. My apology. Not Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford, no. But Henry Ford, yes. Yeah. It's a shame. But oh well. Yeah. Well, anywho. Yeah. I really hope, and I mean this, I really do hope that by me showing you guys these movies from like the 50s, there's like, I really do mean this. I do think it is a shame for like, um, I say older Gen Z people, like Harrison Ford. Yeah. No. Harrison Ford, no. But Henry Ford, yeah. That guy. Uh, Again, I don't know. No, no, no. But like, no. What was I gonna say? Um, what was I gonna say? I really do hope that like, for you guys who are older Gen Z, like, I feel like I'm the only person in older Gen Z who likes this kind of movies. Everyone has like what they like when it comes to like film and like media in general. Like, I understand that, but I do hope that like some people can look back at like this period in film history and be like, get inspired by it, because like, I don't know, I feel like this is like a gold mine of like so much cool stuff that does need some more love. I mean, well, I think like my favorite I say Universal monster movie is the Creature. Let me see. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is one of my favorites. Yeah, I know. I know. But no, this is my favorite. Like, this is arguably my most favorite. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's up there with the original Dracula from 1931, Alien from 1979, the original Evil Dead, and this is another of my favorites. The original Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like, when I think 1950s sci-fi, this is like the quintessential like one. I'm really surprised that the Creature from the Black Lagoon is not in this list, because I really like, I don't know. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm actually going to get the NECA action figure, actually. Here, let me just pull this up. I have a whole collection, well, small collection of figures from NECA, actually. The action figure company. And I'm planning on getting the Creature. Gillman, I mean. So it's one of my favorites. If you want to know my favorite Universal monsters, it is Dracula and Gillman, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And also, the Cramps made a really cool song about the Creature. Oh, yeah. All right. I think that will be it, probably. Yeah. What did you guys think? Any of these you're going to check out, maybe? I really hope I inspire more people. I'll wait. Oh my goodness, it's 9:41. That's excellent. Making good time. By the way, if you're seeing ads and you don't want to see those ads, you can always subscribe or get gifted a sub. Or if you have Amazon Prime, you can always link your Twitch to your Amazon Prime, and you get a free sub every month. If you don't want to, or you just can't financially, that's completely fine. But, you know, perhaps the Godzilla movie. I don't know. Well, at least I got one answer. Well, yeah. All right. There, let me just go to my. All right. Okay. There we go. I will be. I'm sorry, I'm laughing to my own jokes and your reaction. You're fine. I like again like my kind of humor is not really that kind of stuff. No, and also that's I don't know. It's something I don't really care for. My kind of humor is more like deaf related, but even then, the deaf jokes kind of have to be a bit campy because again, that's kind of like you know what. I was going to end it here, but when it comes to campiness, it's one of my favorite shows. It really is. The Munsters. You can watch it free on Tubi and on the Roku channel and all this stuff. But you need to watch it. Like if you want to get the kind of stuff I love, this is it. I got Herman Monster. No, not Herman. Grandpa. I got Grandpa Monster as an action figure. Me and my Cult of the Lamb game. For real. Oh, yeah. But anywho, the Munsters, that's my kind of thing. If you really want to understand me, like you want to understand well, no, not really understand me, but like the kinds of like dark, well, slightly dark campy humor I like, the Munsters, watch this show. It's from 1964. You can watch it free on Tubi. And like I'm going to get into a lot of trouble when I say this, but the Munsters are a lot better, more better in fact, than the Addams. The Addams Family. It's a good show, don't get me wrong, but the Munsters are better. Okay? I'm going to get into trouble with some people, but that's okay. That's fine. All right, let me just take these away. But thank you, Prussian Mummy 18. I'm definitely gonna watch this. This is the kind of movie that I actually really like. So thank you for letting me learn about it. So, all right, here we go. All right. I'll be back on Thursday, but I wanted to ask you guys, what would you like me to stream next? What's your should I do more what's that called? Look, what was I gonna say? Dot dot dot. Let me think. More Hightail, or do you want more Minecraft? It's up to you. Hightail or Minecraft? We will still play Hightail, but I don't know. I kind of just want to play some Minecraft on Thursday. I don't know. Want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me see. Probably books. You know, I was looking into like the legal side of like reading out Alice in Wonderland. And I did see that I would need to get the original copy and then just like read it here, but that's probably going to take some time. And I'll do an event thing, I guess, for that. But anywho, I'm probably going to end it here. I'm probably going to play Minecraft on Thursday and then some Minecraft some more on Saturday. And then I leave to I leave to Rome on next week. On Saturday. Next Saturday. Next Saturday, that's when I fly out to Rome and then all that stuff. It's going to be crazy. I've been improving well, actually, wait. I don't think I showed my euros. Well, I'll show it next time. But anywho, if you like what you see here, well, I'm talking to YouTube people. If you like what you see here, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Join us here on Twitch. And I'll catch you guys later. So, I'll see you later. Take care.